First, I'm taking NYX's eyeshadow base in Skin Tone and applying it all over the lid. Then I'm going to pick up this peach color shadow and apply it to the crease as a transitional shade. Next, I'm going to pick up that yellow shadow and apply it with a small brush to the brow bone as a highlight. And then I'm going to use an angled brush into that brown shadow and create a soft cut crease and blend it out using a fluffy brush. Now I'm going to use a clean brush and I'm blending out any harsh lines, and for the lid I'm packing on the color Pixie. It's a light shimmer shadow and I'm just packing it on till I get the intensity that I want, and then I'm going to work on my wing. I like to start off using a gel liner and a brush, and then I'll go over it with a liquid liner to clean up any of the lines and make it a little more smooth.
My career to help me cope.
Now I'm going to take a brown shadow and apply it to the lower lash line and line my waterline with a brown liner. Then I'm going to add the skinny mascara to the lower lashes and full figured mascara to the upper lashes and apply falsies. You don't have to, but I think it makes it a little more glamorous.
I just begun my
After adding primer, I'm going to go in with foundation. This is the HD Studio Photogenic Foundation with a NYX, it's a buffing brush I believe. And then after I apply the foundation, I'm just going to set it with the HD Banana Powder. And then to warm up my face, because I felt like the bronzer was a little too orange, I want it to look a little more natural, I'm using the Define and Refine Powder Foundation.
went off the track.
After applying a skin finisher, I applied blush in the color Bright Lights, and then I contoured my nose lightly, and whatever foundation I had left on the brush, I'm applying it to my lips to prime it and cancel out my color, and then I'm going in with the High Voltage lipstick in the color Hollywood, which I feel is very appropriate. After applying my lipstick, I applied a baked eyeshadow in the color Cream as a highlight, and then I curled my hair with my GHD Curve Curling Iron and went in with my Redken. It's like a styling paste, and I just smoothed out any of the frizz and just kind of tamed my baby hairs. Now I'm going to show you this sweet glamorous look from the 1960s. So I'm starting off by applying my lids with an eyeshadow base in the color Skin Tone, and then I'm going to take the yellow color and the pink color, mix them and apply it to the brow bone. These shadows are from the Avant Pop palette. From that same palette, I'm going to apply the peachy shade to the crease and above the crease for a easy transition color. Then I'm going to take this brown shade with a pointed fluffy brush and make sure that I deposit the color mostly on the outer corner, but I'm also going to bring it in just a tad. For the lid, I'm applying this color in Lace and packing it onto my lid and getting the correct intensity. And then I'm going to take my NYX The Curve liner and line my lids, doing a dramatic cat eye, and line my waterline with a black liner. Then with a darker brown color on an angled brush, I'm just going to apply this to the lower lash line and apply Pixie to the inner corner, which is that shimmer shade I used in my old Hollywood Glamour. And then apply mascara. This is the Badonkadonk mascara, and apply some false lashes. And then I'm going to cover the lash band using the Curve liner that I used before. For the face, it's going to be pretty much the same as the old Hollywood Glamour, so I'm just going to prime and then afterwards apply the foundation using that same brush. Then I'm going to add the bronzer and the blush, the same thing that I used from my last tutorial. And then I'm going to take that cream baked shadow and just highlight the high points of my face. A little bit of contour. There wasn't much going on back then, but I wanted to define my nose a little bit, so I'm just applying that with an angled stippling brush, I believe. And then I'm going to apply the NYX Intense Butter Gloss in the color Sorbet. fix your hair, tie a bow in it, and you are done.
Made it wonderful news.
For the 1970s, I decided to go with a Cher inspired look. So I'm first going to apply my foundation and prime my lids. And I'm going to use this go-to palette. This brown color is actually a contour shade, but it's perfect for this look. So I'm just going to apply it to the center of the lid and take this lighter shade and apply it on the inner corner to meet that brown color. Then I'm going to take this gray smoky color and apply it to the outer corner and just take a pointed blending brush and just make sure everything is blended out properly. I'm also going to intensify the color. I'm going to blend out and add more over and over until I get the right look that I'm going for. And then I'm going to fill in my brows. She had very full brows, so I'm just going to use the micro pencil to do that. With this lighter color, I'm going to highlight my brow bone, and I used a roll-on shimmer in the color Salmon, and I used a dewy finishing spray to make it more intensified and metallic, and I'm just going to apply this right over that light color in the inner corner and tight line my eyes because she didn't really have a wing, and add a brown shadow to the lower lash line. For the eyes, after I applied the inner corner highlight, I'm just going to curl my lashes and apply the full figured mascara from NYX and add false lashes to the upper lash line.
Pick him up. If you help him, I will never know.
And the Skinny Mascara is making its debut right back into this tutorial. I really like it. And then I'm going to clean up any eyeshadow fallout around my eye with this Kabuki brush from NYX. And then I'm going to use the Set It and Don't Fret It setting powder and warm up my face using the Define and Refine powder foundation in the deep color. Still going strong with that NYX blush and Bright Lights onto the apples of my cheeks for a nice flushed look, and then using the NYX Butter Lipstick and Fun Sized for a nice soft lip. And if you know me, you know I love to glow, so I'm using the NYX Baked Eyeshadow in Cream and applying it to the high points of my cheeks and the tip of my nose. Using the Redken paste, I'm just going to apply this on my hair to tame any flyaways and my baby hairs. And that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed my beauties of the decades. Hopefully you did. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also, please make sure that you vote for me for the NYX Face Awards. I will have all the links down below. You can vote for me from May 29th through June 5th, so check the description box down below. Thank you so much to the sponsors for all the incredible products. I am in love with them. Thank you so much to NYX Cosmetics. I hope to see you guys in the next round. Love yous. Bye.
What if I could be better than the words beyond my own? There were mountains higher than the eye could ever see. There were storm clouds stretched across the world's infinity.